Okay, so now we are going to write we are going to complete this function, the one used to delete a row from our CSV file. So what we are going to do is to first of all, because this very function will be quite probably a bit more difficult than other functions we've written already. I think so, but I was trying to find out how we could write it because, as you probably know, when you are writing to a file, you need to, when you're deleting something from a file, you need to um, if you want to return the remaining information, you need to create another file in order to transfer what you've got to the new file. So what we are going to do now is to create a list. In this list, we are going to append all the information we have in our database. So once we append all the information, then we will then delete what we intend to delete. So first of all, let me create a list. Let's call it the list items, and it's going to be a list. So let's ask our user to provide a NASDAQ number because we want to delete based on, like I said earlier, the most unique information in our database, which is the NASDAQ number. So let me copy this and save it here so I don't need to re-enter them. So we're going to delete based on the NASDAQ number. So we ask the user to provide the NASDAQ number. So let's use here input. Okay, we say provide a NASDAQ number to, you know what, let me just make this to be very simple. Delete a NASDAQ number. So we ask the person for a NASDAQ number. So now what we need to do is to open our CSV file, db.csv, that's where our file is. And what we intend to do is to write, and let's give it a name. Maybe we might call it current, maybe, I don't know, current file. And then let us read CSV. So to open the file is just similar. It's the same as what you've been doing when we were writing the other functions. And now we call this current file. So this is the same as this. So we are reading it and transferring it into what we called reader here. And then let us look through. We could say for row in reader. So once we look through the rows we have in the reader here, we look through it. So what we need to do is to add everything append everything, all the rows into our list. We append everything into our list. So we append everything. So now what we've got there in the row, we loop through it once again. Let's call this variable x in row. So now if x if x is, so once we look through the row again, we get this. So we compare it whether it's the same as the user input, which is the NASDAQ number. So if it is the same, what we do now is to delete or to remove it, right? We remove it. And then what we now do is, like I said in the beginning, we need to, once we delete, we need to recreate a different file. But what I intend to do here is to use the same file. I don't want to keep on recreating different files. So I intend to use a different file here to save the current rows we have in the CSV file. So what we need to do here now is we go back and op open here, and then the same db.csv file. Now what we intend to do is to write, and then we give it a name. Uh, Maybe we could call it something like, there we have a current file. So we call this one current file, so let us call it maybe new file. Let's call it new file. So we are writing back here. We read and then deleted what we wanted to delete. So now we are writing back to the same file, or rather to a new file, but we are giving it a similar name as what we had before. So what we do here now is to, let's see, right. I don't know, let's just call it, this could be anything, but I would just call it something like write back, and then we read a CSV dot writer again, almost the same as what we did when we read. Now that we are writing, we are doing almost something similar. And this one, we called it new file. We say new file, new file, so write back dot write row. We write the rows back again into items. So what do we do here? We could just print something and tell the user that maybe we could say Nasdaq has been deleted. Nasdaq has been deleted. So we could just prompt or throw the user back to the user interface again, as we always done. So we do it this way. And what we are going to do now is we are going to try and see if it works. Before we do that, let's see, let me make sure that we already registered this. It should be somewhere, where is it? Delete item, which is D, is already there. Let me make sure it's also the same here. Delete item is D. Okay, everything seems to look good. So let me just quickly try this and see what happens. Let's say Py under the name of our, let's see. It's taking its time. Okay, so that's what we expected to see. First of all, these are the rows we have in our CSV file. So let's watch it and see what happens. So here we have D, and they asking us for what we intend to delete. So what do we want to delete? Let's delete maybe Juniper. Let's delete Juniper. You see, so it says Juniper has been deleted. Now we've got only uh, three items remaining here. So if we want to delete more, we could just go something, we choose D again. What do we want to delete? Maybe let's delete Amazon. We delete Amazon. So now we have only Palo Alto and Cisco. That's what we've got. So, so I think this works quite well. And we are going to leave it here, and then we see what we are going to do again. Like I was saying, The function that we have left here now is empty database, but I really do not think that this is important. Like, I mean, if someone wants to delete the database, for example, or empty the database, I don't think they need to do much to do with it. They could just delete the database. So maybe we don't need to write this one.